This is the Wiiviewer!
And the LittlWiiviewer!
And the LittlestWiiviewer!
And we're gonna review
Kirby and the Rainbow Curse!
For the WiiU!
Did you play the original game, Kirby's Canvas Curse?
No.
No.
I actually did. I rented it. I didn't like it at all. And you know what? I didn't like this one either. I don't think the concept works because this feels like a mobile game. You know what, Nintendo? You want to come up with a mobile game? This is your game, because this is more suited to the mobile industry than it is to the Wii U or the DS.
I like the game, but it's hard to control, only for the fact that I'm really bad at the controls.
The whole problem with the game is the thing we're probably going to bring up the most is that you're constantly looking down at the screen. The clay effects were fantastic.
They never really overdid it, so it was like a gimmick that didn't seem out of place as it could be.
It looked pretty good for what it is, if you're not looking at the gamepad.
This isn't the first time they've gimmicked out Kirby. Remember Epic Yarn? Which one do you think worked better, Epic Yarn or Clay Kirby?
Both worked fine in their own right.
I think Epic Yarn worked better because you can actually watch the screen and see all the prettiness. Because most of the time you're just looking down at the screen and the gamepad really doesn't have the best resolution to see all the great graphical effects. So when I was watching you play, I thought the game looked great. It just felt like they kind of wasted the effort that they put out.
I think that you're taking this way too seriously. It's not that big of an issue. It's not really that much of a difference from the TV to the gamepad.
No, it's just irritating that there is even a difference. Like we said, the game is basically a whole clay gimmick. That brings up some problems. Since when has Kirby not been able to walk?
He can't.
No, he can't.
You can see it in his opening cutscene. He can walk. He just chooses not to.
What? What is that? It's like
He's been packing too much on the pounds, and the doctor says that he can't walk.
he's been eating too much clay. Which, by the way, he was already clay before he went into this world, so it didn't transform him into clay. He was already this way.
It's just an art style.
The whole thing is that you're drawing lines on the screen, and Kirby uses it like some Norditrack because he doesn't want to move. He's like, "Will you move for me? I'm too lazy. My legs will break if I even move." Because it's ridiculous. He doesn't move. It's like the game would be so much better if he did. Because just forget about the drawing mechanics. Let's just go ahead and play it that way.
They did do that. It's called second player.
I know. We'll get into multiplayer in a second. But so you basically draw a line on the screen and Kirby follows that. And they give you a certain amount of, what would you say, ink? Or rainbow magic dust?
No, let's just call it rainbow magic ink dust stuff.
Rainbow magic ink dust stuff floating through the sky.
Let's also remember that it's clay.
You basically have this limited amount of stuff that reloads after a little bit of time, and then
Reloads faster on the ground.
Okay, it reloads faster on the ground when Kirby's taking a break from doing nothing. So just like other Kirby games, he can turn into different stuff, that was the cool parts about this game. But still, you had to use the stylus in order to move the characters. Just the whole stylus gimmick I didn't like. I don't want to just slam on this game. It's like, I thought it was charming in parts, but it's just, the gameplay was never something I enjoyed.
I enjoyed it, but I kind of suck at it, so...
How would you rank this in Kirby game?
Not too high, but not too low.
I put this towards the bottom. The problem is the game looks fantastic, but the gameplay itself hinders it massively. But at least it was easy. You gotta give him credit for easiness. And you can get a ton of lives.
It's crazy short, though. There's only 3 levels and a boss in each world, being 7 worlds, and they recycle bosses. So, multiplayer is basically the tacked-on version, like you said before, on how... What if we made this game where they could just jump? And it doesn't fit at all.
Because the levels are based on the idea that you have to draw in order to move forward.
You can make platforms for the people, but then you have to be focusing on, like, at maximum 4 things at a time.
Now, there are also challenges you can do. What did you think of the challenges?
They were a nice distraction.
Did you try and get them all?
No, because some of them are pretty difficult to get, like beating the final boss without taking damage.
But there's also plenty of collectibles and replayability in the game.
In each level, there's like 5 treasure chests, which contains either music or collectible figures, a la Smash Brothers. At the end of the level, you can also collect a journal entry, which is just collectible exposition.
You collect it and then you learn a bit about the story.
Or not. Sometimes they're completely useless.
So the story is kind of limited in what you get to see just casually. But if you actually look at some of the text, it reveals some more of the story. There's this person, Glacia, who goes mad, decides to steal all the color from Kirby's world. A magical paintbrush decides to give paint back to Kirby and Waddle Dee to help find out why Glacia's gone mad.
So did you like the story, or was it just kind of like a big eh?
It's okay. They always try to make some sort of quote-unquote twist, but they didn't really hide it this time, considering the fact that you could see it in both the figurine descriptions and the journal entries. Yeah, it was nice.
LittlWiiviewer, would you buy, rent, sale, or skip?
Rent, because game is too short and you probably won't go back to this game unless you're collecting treasures in which you get to view figurines and journal entries and stuff like that.
All right, LittlestWiiviewer, would you buy, sale, rent, or skip?
Rent, because it's very short.
How short would you say?
You could complete it in a few days.
Well, that's 48 hours.
Not like constantly playing, like
Oh.
playing a few hours at a time. You can complete it in a few days. You can probably complete it in one day if you really try.
Personally, I would just skip it, but it's going to be up to you. If you're a Kirby completionist, yeah, go ahead and rent it. It's not a big deal if you skip it, which is depressing because the game is fantastic. The game looks gorgeous.
You just did that.
What?
You switched words. You were gonna say fantastic and you went to gorgeous.
Yes, I did. So I say the word fantastic too much. Oh, let's stay on Kirby, shall we?
You said it. March live event, people.
So I say rent it if you're a Kirby fan, skip it if you just don't care. Well, that was our review of Kirby's Rainbow Curse. Why don't you check out our previous review of Don't Touch Anything Red.
Or if you want to check out an older video, you could check out Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Or you could subscribe.
Like always, thank you for watching.